Welcome to SaultSports.com. I'm Tony Boniferro, joined alongside Ross Viotto. Ross, how you doing, bud?
Doing great, buddy. Thanks for having us. This is great.
Thanks for doing this. So I kind of wanted to talk to you. You know, we had a chance to interview you a couple years ago, and we've talked to you throughout the years here, but there's been some major developments, right, that have gone on. And we've had the opportunity to speak to Drew. We've had the opportunity to speak to Taylor. But it's fascinating to kind of hear it from a parent standpoint and kind of what you guys have been dealing with and you and Andrea have kind of been experiencing through all this. So let's start with this past year. We'll start with Drew. So his year at Minnesota. I mean, listen, let's just start from a fanboy aspect. I mean, you're a football fan, a diehard football fan. What was that like for you this year? What was just that experience of, holy cow, I have a son playing quarterback in the Big Ten?
Totally amazing. Like the whole process, as we spoke, I think it was maybe 2-3 years ago. It was, the process has ups and downs and, happy times and sad times and everything. But once he reaches the pinnacle of saying, hey, you know what, you're signing, you're going to the Big Ten, it's amazing. And for him to do that, and then as you guys saw, because I posted a lot on Facebook, because our family and friends back home want to see and experience this. And for me to be part of that, with the band and him coming through the tunnel was pretty emotional for us seeing that. And it was just cool. It's just cool that it can actually happen for somebody. Because I always told you, I said, you have no business being in the Big Ten or, doing what you did, and you did it. You know what I mean? That's why we did what we did. And it's great payoff for him. And, he took advantage of it. He worked hard. He did great, and it's just a great experience for him. So
now, on the other hand, right, this year might have been a little bit frustrating. On the other hand, too, right, as a parent, I can only imagine what that was like. Throughout all the awesomeness that happened this season, about him being on the team and getting that life experience, obviously he ended up entering the transfer portal. What kind of led to that decision from a family aspect? We heard Drew speak about it and, where he came from. But, being his father and being a parent of his, obviously, what was that experience like? And kind of what kind of led to that?
Well, I mean, the first part was with Drew. I mean, we can have a whole show on this.
Yeah.
About the college football, transfer portal, NIL, all that stuff. But to keep it short, the individual who recruited Drew, Kirk Soraka, who's an outstanding coach, and I mean he coached Joe Flacco, the Super Bowl winning quarterback, who's killing it with the Browns now. Yeah. He's the one who said to Drew, we want you. This is our, blah blah blah. So we went there. I don't want to say because of him, because he was a huge reason. So I think it was a week or 10 days before we got there, he was gone. So I'm like, Drew, you know what? And Drew's like, I still want to go here. Like we're moving in. Like, but we've also been told go where you're loved.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing that they know who you are and that you can do something. Anyway, so Drew, I mean, put it this way, the one quarterback, he beat out a quarterback to go to third string quarterback, and he traveled and he did the charter flights and he had all those fun things. So that's huge for him just to travel for a first year guy. But as the year went on and with this transfer portal, it's so uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen from one week to the next. And I don't think the opportunity presented itself at Minnesota for Drew. I think it could have and never did. But it is what it is. I mean, we could debate that all day. Yeah. At the end of the day, you have to go somewhere where you're loved and that you have an opportunity to play. In this day and age, you got to go where you can play. And because you got to get on the field. If you want to play at the next level where it's CFL, NFL, UFL, you're anywhere, they want to say, can this kid play?
Yeah.
So go somewhere you can play. So Drew, this was Drew's decision. I mean, we obviously helped him, but he said, I want to go somewhere I can play. And that's what happened. We just went in the portal. And we obviously had things lined up at Eastern because we knew they loved him from before because he had committed there. So he's ecstatic of this decision and fired up to get things going next week.
So, that leads me to my next question about the portal. So, you've now experienced kind of both sides of the portal, right? The portal having an impact on Drew at Minnesota, but on the other hand, now he gets a chance to go to Eastern. What are your overall thoughts on how the portal works from a parent's perspective?
I think the portal is a great tool if you use it properly. Like there's a bunch of examples from Joe Burrow to Justin Fields, all these guys who transferred somewhere and were Michael Penix there's a ton of guys if you're using the portal right, that you're going to go somewhere where you're going to actually play. I don't know what the numbers and the stats are, but a lot of these kids that actually transfer somewhere, a lot of them don't play.
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't even find a school to go to.
Oh, wow. Really?
They're stuck in the portal. I don't know the numbers, but I know that there's like a certain percent that don't even get on the team. Like, for example, I'll give you a quick stat. There's because a crazy quarterback dad like I am, I know the stat. There was like 120, 125 quarterbacks in the portal as of, and this is rough, as of like last Friday.
Wow.
Out of those, I think there's maybe 40 to 50 that have a team as of today.
Wow.
So there's a lot that are like, they either got to go really, maybe down to Division II, FCS.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I answered your question. It's a
no,
tough
you did.
one,
Yeah.
You have to, it has to be the proper tool for you.
So if you leave a school and enter the transfer portal, or say you enter the portal, do you have the option of going back to the school you came from?
Some schools, yes. Some schools, no. Minnesota said once you're in the portal, you can't come back.
You're done. Okay.
But there's schools that you're in the portal and they allow you to play in the bowl game. So it varies on the school.
Because that's a really risky decision then for a young man to make, because, again, you're basically walking away from a full ride scholarship in a sense too, right? So, if you have a scholarship offer and you're one of those 60 quarterbacks who hasn't been signed yet and not at a school, they basically walked out of an education as well. Is that correct?
100%. But the sad part is this: you need to have somewhere to go, but you also have to be careful because that's tampering if you're talking to anybody else. So
okay.
The whole, this is literally a whole nother show.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
We got to talk about moving the dates and bowl games.
So
it's insane.
So then let's just dive into this Eastern thing then. You guys made your decision relatively quick, right? Yeah. Now, obviously, you guys have a relationship with Eastern, and so did Drew. Yeah. And, was the quick decision on purpose? Like, did you guys have that in mind? Or as a parent, did you want Drew to kind of go and experience and see what else was out there?
I think Drew knew, and Drew said this to us. He says, if anything ever goes sideways, I'm going to Eastern Michigan. Yeah. He just always had a good relationship with them. They loved him. He knows he's going to have an opportunity to play. There was other opportunity. There was other schools that reached out the minute he just says, I intend on going. Yeah. But now you got to build a relationship with them. And, do you want to go through? I'm not sure. There's just a lot of variables that work into this.
So from a parent, you guys have a really busy schedule, right? You obviously work. You have two high-profile athletes. I want to talk a little bit about Taylor quickly since we just kind of talked to her. So with her experience, right, she kind of went over from soccer to basketball, been doing really well. I think her progression, like watching her progression over the last year has been unbelievable. What's that like for you guys? And what has seeing her kind of success only validated your decision to move down there even more?
100%. And me being a sports nut, and you can attest to this, we love sports. So we're going to give our opportunity to the kids. So Taylor, when she came down, if I would have known then what I know now, I would have brought her down even earlier. But with COVID and everything going on, because she has grown a ton. When she, like she even said, I think when she first got down here, I had said to her, I said, I'm not sure if you're on offense or defense. Yeah. And she's come so far where she's starting on varsity basketball right now for an LVC champion. That's huge. But that's not, we gave her the tools to come down here. But there's training that she's done, 3-4 times a week. She's playing AAU basketball. Any time off she has, she's doing extra. Like this morning, we went to, she had some training with her AAU team. So there's always something. It's great for them because they can say, hey, listen, I have a goal that I can go play Division 1, 2, whatever it is. Yeah. And if I work hard, I can achieve that. So it's been great for her. She has improved a ton.
What are some differences that you've noticed throughout this process? I know it's early on. She's only in grade 10, but between basketball and the football, has there been any major differences so far?
Well, being a quarterback recruit is insane because there's only one quarterback they get in each class for 130 teams for major Division 1 or FBS. Basketball, there's I think over 400 schools.
Oh, wow.
Division One, I believe
Yeah.
Division Two. These are rough numbers, but there's more opportunity for girls. There's more girls playing. But if you're going to work harder and train harder, there's going to be opportunities for you in basketball. I'm not saying it's easier.
Yeah.
because
No, I hear you. I hear you.
But they're both big sports. But for girls, volleyball is even bigger than basketball.
Yeah.
The volleyball down here is huge.
Really?
Basketball would be a second. Yeah.
Okay. I know we talked about this before, years ago when we talked to you, but again, I just kind of want people who are just kind of getting into your story. I just want you to talk about briefly what led to your decision, you and Andrea's decision to move down there. I mean, you guys were really well established here in the Sioux, obviously, and for you guys to kind of pick up and relocate your entire family, I can't imagine again how difficult that decision would have been. But what kind of led to that decision? How did you guys come up with that decision? And obviously, are you happy that you made that decision?
We're definitely happy with the decision. Tons of ups and downs because we went through the COVID thing where we were split up. Andrew and Taylor were home. Me and Drew were down here. But I think that the biggest thing was, I think it was during football season when Drew was just starting with Sioux Minor football. And he really started to because he was getting out of the rep hockey.
Yeah.
And then because he says, Dad, I want to play football, not hockey. I'm like, are you sure you're in Canada now? I was ecstatic because I can't skate or do anything hockey-wise. So I was like, yeah, great football. So I think me and Andrew just had a conversation. I'm like, let's look at the training part of Drew for quarterbacking, which we found through another guy that we know. And that started and got the ball rolling. And they're saying, hey, you know what? He's a big kid. He's got some talent. If you want him to get to a college level, this is the place to come to a high, good high college level.
Yeah. So we just actually looked it up. There's 351 D1 basketball schools for girls basketball in the States. Yeah. So to prove your point, right? Yeah. So that's huge. Mm-hmm. So back to this quickly. So, what would you say to people who are kind of going through or kind of wrestling with this decision? What do I do with my kid? What do I do with my young family? What kind of advice would you give Ross and Andrea Viotto, 5 years ago, kind of knowing what you know now?
Well, it's funny you say that because we've had people, not from only Sault Ste. Marie, but Ontario and across Canada, that have reached out to me through Facebook just to say, hey, we love what your son did. Can we do that too? What do we need to do? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. It's the hardest thing we've ever done as a family. And if you got to do it, you got to jump in. There are opportunities for you not having to move. You can do it. But for me and Andrea, we wanted to be with the kids. We want to go see the kids play. We want to be a part of that American experience of, from tailgating to watching the game, all that. A lot of kids send their kids away to prep schools, and that's cool. We know a lot of people that have done that. But we were like, if we're going to do this, let's jump in and do it. It's not easy, but man, it's definitely well worth it.
Yeah, what I keep telling people, because obviously I had the privilege of watching a few of Drew's high school games, right, at Walled Lake.
Right.
And I remember saying to you, because watching that game was so much different than watching high school football over here. Yeah. And the difference, I almost felt like I was watching a college game, right, with how hard they hit and how crisp it all is and just the different levels, right? Mm-hmm. Do you notice that with basketball as well?
100%. The basketball is so much different because they are playing 12 months a year. Yeah. If they're not doing high school, they're doing AAU. If they're not doing AAU, they're back into high school. They're training. There's 4 or 5 trainers that we've seen that we know. They're doing more of it, And with the football, it's great you said that because you did come and we appreciate that support because I'm glad you did. But that's refreshing because when I first came down here, I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then you live here and you kind of get spoiled because this is what you expect. Until people like you, my relatives, the family come down like, this is so awesome. I can't believe it. So that's great to hear and to see because it is true. It's refreshing for me to hear that from people that come and watch.
Well, when I was at Drew's last game, I remember sitting there watching the game thinking to myself, how are people not hurt on every single play? Like just with the size of the athletes, with how hard they're hitting, with how they run the ball. you're watching this, and I was just, yeah, it was just mind blowing to me, the difference, right? And it's something that I don't think you can fully experience watching on TV. It's something that you kind of have to experience live, right?
Oh,
and to really notice the difference. So
100%.
that's what I thought. Yeah. So Eastern Michigan, obviously a little bit smaller or shorter drive for you. What stood out about Eastern to you? I really enjoyed that video that you posted about Drew announcing to the team. That was awesome. Like, that was so cool. And just allow you to be there. And again, for people who don't know what we're talking about, maybe if we can get a copy of it and post it on the Sault Sports website, even if you're okay with that. But
absolutely.
I just think that was so unbelievably cool. Just kind of talk about what Eastern has been like and just how welcoming they've been.
Well, and that in a nutshell is why Drew's going there. Because we didn't even know they were going to do that. The coaches even said to us, that's their genuine feeling, because they need a quarterback. They want somebody. They were going to go to the portal, and they knew that Drew was going to, if they knew Drew was going to be there, they were going to grab him. Yeah. And the whole team kind of knew that. So for them to celebrate the way they did, me, I'm an emotional guy as I get older. So I got a little couple tears, and me and Andrew were sitting there, So it was pretty cool to know that, from where you were to where you are now, there's a team here that you can go in there, and there's some good tools that they have. They basically have everything that a big time school has at a smaller level. Yeah. They got all the stuff you need. Actually, next season, we're playing against Washington. So either the national champions or runner-up, they're going up there to play.
Wow.
Chris Creighton, the head coach, is an amazing person, down to earth, and he's 100% honest with you. The offensive coordinator, Coach Pike, is a great guy, and they're just good, down to earth people, and that's what we're used to coming from where we come from. And Drew just knows that he can go there, do well, and go win a MAC championship.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
absolutely
in the grasp.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like I said, I have family down there, who live 5 minutes from the stadium. My cousin's a graduate from there. We're super excited, so it'll be great.
We hope to see a lot of Canadians. I know the family's going to be there. It's a lot easier for them to drive 4.5 hours than
for sure
10, 12 hours to Minnesota. So we're excited.
Absolutely. All right, couple quick questions before I let you go here. So let's start with this one, because this is a tough one. So again, I don't mean to put you on the spot with this. If you want to pass, that's fine too. But obviously, you're a really well established family here in the Soo. You're really well established here with your work and just your volunteering and everything that you do. Is there any chance of you guys relocating back to the Soo once the kids are kind of on their own and once they're out of school? Has that ever kind of thought, or have you and Andrea ever discussed that idea?
That's a great question, because I couldn't answer that now. I don't know, because I want to see where the road takes us. Yeah. Because eventually our goal is to be with our parents when they're in Florida for 6 months, when we're officially retired. Yeah. So to be in the Soo, that's where our parents are and stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if we did come back, you know what I mean, at some point. Yeah. Do we know for sure? Who knows what the road brings us? But we don't leave that. We'll never say we'll never go back to the Soo. You know what I mean? That's where a lot of these things started. And the kids actually, listen, just because we're in the States doesn't mean we forget about Canada and Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Love going back and seeing the family. We're a close family. So that's a good thing. But we'll see what the future holds. Who knows? Yeah,
that's great. And finally, your thoughts on the national championship last night. I mean, we asked Drew, and Drew kind of shocked us all when he called Washington to win the whole thing. And Washington, I mean, Michigan looked good yesterday, but you can easily make an argument that Washington's the team to beat.
Michigan is playing so well. Their defense is just unreal. Like, getting 5 sacks and a half is incredible. Yeah. They just seem like a team of destiny, Michigan. I have some close friends down here that are like Michigan lunatics. Okay. Like not just fans. They love Michigan. Yeah. And you can just sense that they're a team of destiny. But Washington, just so you know, the head coach of Washington was the offensive coordinator at Eastern Michigan a few years back. So Washington's going to give them a go. I think Michigan will come out and squeeze, win a national championship, and Harbaugh will go get a bunch of money in the NFL. But good for him.
Yeah, it's funny. I was listening to ESPN radio this morning, and they were just talking about the head coach of Washington. His name's escaping me. What's his name?
DeBoer, Coach DeBoer.
Coach DeBoer.
Yeah,
he has won everywhere he's coached. From Eastern Michigan, like they went over his whole coaching resume, and he has been a winner everywhere he's gone. So
yeah, starting from the Division III level.
That's right. Yeah. So kind of a cool little story. So if I'm putting you on the spot, are you taking Michigan in the finals or in the national championship?
If I'm sitting watching the game, I'm gonna take Washington. The only reason is because I want to play. Well, I want Drew to play the national champion Washington Huskies when we go out there next year.
Yeah,
so that would be the only reason I'm going for Washington.
Yeah,
because we do a lot of players on Michigan, like from Samaj Morgan to Will Johnson. These guys Drew played with here in Detroit. So I wish that they're great kids, and it's going to be a hell of a game for sure.
That's amazing. Well, listen, Ross, we really appreciate you doing this. We appreciate the support, right? We obviously, this journey is just awesome, right? It's really cool that you guys let us in and let people in this city into kind of what you're going through and what you guys are experiencing. And just, and again, just know, we always got your back. We're always supporting you guys. And we love the fact that you guys continue to do this with us. We really do appreciate it. And thanks again.
And likewise, Tony, I'm appreciative of you because I think you were one of the very first people that heard that we were coming here when we were coaching together.
That's right.
And a side note, we did win the championship that year.
Yes.
But so we appreciate your support and the people in the suit too. So anytime, any place, you guys look us up, and we'd be happy to do more interviews for you guys.
That's right. Awesome. We really appreciate it, and we'll definitely be down at Eastern quite a bit next year.
All right.
So thanks again for doing this, and we have to touch base again. Maybe in the new year or next year, and kind of see where the kids are at, and we'll go from there, and keep us updated with what's going on with Taylor. Right? I know we follow Drew quite a bit, but there's a lot of girls basketball here in the Sioux has really taken off. Algoma University has a new coach, and Katie Hamilton's doing a lot of good things there too. So there's a lot of interest with it, right? So there are people talking about Taylor and her story and want to know what's going on. So so keep us up to date, and we'll continue to be your biggest fans. Absolutely.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right, guys. Take care. Thanks, Ross. Bye-bye.